gender roles in terms of social expectation can be flexible because that flexibility leaves room for
exploration.
Yeah.
People to not feel resentful. Because sometimes the load of a role can be too much on one person. Like when it comes to nurturing, for instance, a lot of men feel like it's beneath them. And men tend to take pride in saying, I can't change diapers. I can't clean my baby. I can't give my baby a bath.
What is the woman there for?
And there's this thing in society where you can't give your baby girl a bath. I saw something on social media. A man was giving his little girl a bath, and some weird people were thinking all kinds of weird things, like it was a perverted behavior. I mean, there's this thing of demeaning men that happens in our society. Men are seen as
predators.
Not just predators. Men are seen as though they're animals. We can't control ourselves. Like giving your little girl a bath.
So you're saying that society are quick to villainize men?
Yeah, very much so.
Welcome to Besty and Smoke podcast.
Talking the BS.
That's right. Welcome to the Besty and Smoke podcast. And do not forget that you can follow us. As a matter of fact, we really want for you to follow us on our social media platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Okay, that subscription bell. Make sure you smash it right there. And also like and comment on the platform, all right? It is the BS podcast, the Besty and Smoke podcast. And like you know, I am not alone. I've got my co-host, the B in the BS.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
Well, I'm feeling fabulous. I think I should stop saying feeling fabulous.
Why not?
It's almost becoming a thing. Like whether I'm feeling or not feeling it, I just say it.
Okay, so that means you're not feeling fabulous today.
I'm not really feeling fabulous, but I do know I'm looking fabulous. So I'll take that, okay? You fake it till you make it.
Okay, well, what do you feel on fabulous?
It's, I think it's from yesterday.
One of those days?
Yes, one of those days. I'm surprised you don't know what yesterday was.
No,
15th of September.
Yeah, what happened?
Yeah.
Your mom?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I faked it well.
Wow. You know, I'm not one for
yes, you're not.
keeping
I know.
dates and
I know,
things.
but like I said, I don't want to get into it because it's I don't want it to be like something that, come on, some people say get over it. Yeah. So yesterday it was, I held it together well because, I have, younger ones and all that stuff. So it kind of, like I said, sometimes you do it for them, but you realize it's actually good for you.
So 1 year
yeah,
after losing your mom, how do you feel now? 365.
It's no, it doesn't get easier. Just saying.
This is Besty and Smoke podcast.
Talking the BS.
All right. So, what gives today? What are we talking about?
Well, we are discussing whether gender plays a role in marriage.
Gender.
I come in peace today.
I don't really care about your
I come in peace today. I don't want the
because you know something I've learned while being on this platform, right? The thing I've learned is that your peace should not be bought into. It's like that Greek gift.
Are you serious?
The Trojan horse. So gender, does it play a role in marriage?
Absolutely.
That's the question.
Absolutely. It does. Now, let's start by, talking about gender roles. Biologically,
yeah,
you have a gender roles where, which refers to the difference between men and women, the physical, natural differences between men and women. You have the reproductive roles where, a man is this and the woman is that. Now you have the social, which is more of, the expectations society places on individuals based on their gender. Now, this could be as a result of, culture, tradition, religion as well. We are taking a look on how these roles, how they actually play a part in marriage. So, Smoke.
Yeah.
Gender roles.
A man is a father. A woman is a mother. That's biological. You cannot change that. Now, these are the roles, the primary roles that gender plays in marriage. Because when you get married, you naturally gravitate towards having a family. And the husband becomes the father, and the wife becomes the mother. So these are biological roles that you can't really change, although unless you begin to fiddle with the human anatomy. Now, let me start with the mother. The role that gender bestows or places on the woman as a mother is that of a nurturer, the one who grows, the one who nurtures, the one who holds in her hand. Like when you plant a seed in the soil and you nurture it, you water it, you watch it grow, you make sure that you defend it and protect it from the elements. That is nurturing. And that's what a mother does. The mother nurses the baby. The mother actually carries the baby. The mother is the nest of life. That is the most important gender role of all. The nest, or you could say the cradle, but I prefer the nest because the nest gives you this idea of softness, warmth.
Yeah.
You know, when a bird makes a nest, it uses soft materials to create, that comfy, warm abode. So that's what a mother does. A mother makes the baby comfortable right from within the womb. And when the baby eventually comes, the mother nurtures the baby, nurses the baby, takes care of the baby. Now, traditionally, in certain traditional societies, the men do not necessarily get involved, but all of that is changing quickly right now. But I'm talking about biological roles, okay, not traditional, not social.
Okay, well, while you were talking about it in a biological sense, that's gender role, in a way, I felt like it was gravitating towards social.
Traditional. Yeah.
Okay, where, you know, the biological part of it, okay, the woman nurtures the baby in her womb. But after that, the nurturing that comes outside, where, you know, you have to now nurture the child, you know, to raise the child in that motherly sense.
I'm not really talking about raising the baby yet. I'm talking about when the baby is still an infant and it needs its mother.
That cannot be replaced.
That cannot be taken over by any father.
Yeah.
Or anyone for that matter. Even a wet nurse cannot reproduce what a mother, the bond that could be created at that point between the mother and the child.
Yeah, of course.
So that's the most important stage of nurturing in life. And that's something a mother is naturally, biologically created to do. Because when you look at the umbilical, the connection of the umbilical from the child or from the mother to the child, how the mother feeds the baby in her womb through the umbilical cord, you see that it goes beyond the biological connection. There is something almost spiritual that exists, a bond that's difficult to break that exists beyond the umbilical connection between the mother and the child. And that is something a father can never achieve. Now, some babies, sometimes you see on the internet where a baby gravitates towards loving their dad more. And I saw this video where a dad is coming back with the mom, and the mom, you know, spreads her arms wide to embrace the baby, but the baby just sidesteps and rushes to the dad. Now, that's cute and all. But at the end of the day, who takes care of that baby? It's usually the mom. So now the father is the one who sows the seed. That's a biological role you play in the family as a father and as a mother. These are roles that were given to human beings by nature. I wanted to say they cannot be changed, but I do not want to be too fast to say that. Okay, you can be too certain of what the future holds. Now, when you go towards social roles, That's where you talk about the husband being, traditionally speaking now, the
Provider.
provider, the protector, the shield for the family, and the mother being what I like to call the neck, the supporter. You have a problem with that?
I do.
It's okay.
I do.
Where the mother is the woman, rather, the wife, rather. And it's really difficult to separate the husband from the father and the wife from the mother, especially after children come into the picture. So the husband is the provider, the traditional roles now, the provider, the protector, the shield of the family, the head of the family. And the woman is the nurturer, not just for the baby, but
For
for
the home.
all of the family, the homemaker. She is the one who provides comfort in a family. If the wife is devoid of comfort, if she doesn't have the ability to produce comfort, the home will be comfortless.
It won't be a home.
It will not be a home. I think there's a thin line between social roles and biological roles, because women are created to be, I don't want to say soft, okay, but compassionate, kind-hearted, tender. And these have certain social elements to them. Social impositions, or maybe they are socially ascribed sometimes. Gender role assignment. Women are assigned the roles of being tender, being quiet, being soft. So over time, they've evolved into actually imbibing these qualities. And men are assigned the role of the protector, the provider, and over time, they've evolved into having these qualities come to them as though naturally. So men tend to gravitate towards wanting to lead the family, protect the family, provide for the family. And women gravitate towards wanting to make a home for the family, create comfort for the family. But in the modern setting,
yes,
these traditional roles are changing.
Is it the social?
Yeah, the social roles are changing and quite quickly, because you see a mom who's also working, all right?
Yes.
And she may not have the time to be a 100% nurturer. Some people even have to employ wet nurses, to help them nurture their babies. Some women do not even get to nurse their babies.
Is it because they don't want to, or they couldn't?
Sometimes because they don't want to. Sometimes because they can't. Sometimes because they have postpartum depression. Okay, and they cannot create that bond with their babies. So they need someone else to take care of the baby while they get through with the situation.
And just to clarify, this is a situation where after a woman puts to bed, they find it because of probably what they experienced or during labor.
Yeah.
Okay, they find it difficult connecting to their baby because of the trauma.
Yeah.
It might not be a trauma per se, but because come on. So that might actually result to the woman having issue connecting with the baby, not because there's an issue with the baby, but because there is
it's a psychological thing.
Yes, psychological.
It's an emotional detachment
from the baby.
It's a condition that can be overcome.
Yes, it must, of course.
Yeah. So I think gender plays quite the significant role in marriages, not just in roles, but in communication as well. You know how society raises men to be strong, be stoic,
yes,
be
emotionally be rigid,
emotionally detached, don't express, don't cry.
A man doesn't cry.
Yeah, men don't cry. All of that. So men become emotionally detached. This might create some sort of barrier to the communication that happens between a couple. that freeness to express
Yeah, you know,
yourself.
the idea is there are things you don't learn. In my culture, we say "Adaramuake benanka"
That's
means
right.
you don't learn how to use your left
You
hand.
don't learn to be left-handed,
Yeah,
in your
left-handed
old
during
age.
old age. The thing that is, boys are groomed to not really express, themselves emotionally, to always have it, hold it together. And that could actually result to them not being expressive. Now, if you are dealing with someone who, one, they barely talk, they find it difficult, like they are introverted naturally, topping it up with being a man, that could really resort to, you having a man who barely speaks of, how he feels.
So bottles it all up inside.
Thank you so much. So I think when you speak of gender, I think right from a young age, men are groomed to always have it together, to not fall apart. A woman has the liberty to fall apart, but when a man does the same thing, you are asked, why are you behaving like a woman? So I do see how that could really be problematic
And some people refer to this as toxic masculinity.
Yes, it is. It's truly.
I said some people refer to it as toxic masculinity.
and
I'm not even arguing the
and
concept.
I'm saying yes.
And you were about to
I am not
lance
arguing.
me.
You're hoping for a fight,
I'm
but
not.
you will not get any from me today, my lord. You will not. Do you want me to go further and say nine?
I wouldn't mind.
I have gist for you, but not today. So back to what I was saying. In today's world,
Yeah.
things are changing, and I like the fact that you pointed out that before, because it would have been like, okay, defender of the universe, you're coming again at it. No, I like the fact that you went there and you really talked about how women work. They actually now get help. Now let's talk about how sometimes from the man's side, if the expectation that society places on the man, how if not flexible, could actually make the man resentful. Because when a man is the sole provider, there was a man during my radio days who called on a program, and he was asked a question, and his response was, "Nwoke ga tagida afụfụ."
A man would suffer, struggle until he dies.
From the looks of things, he was angry at someone who his wife. So I find it that when you take on that responsibility, the whole, a man should do this, a man should do that, you should take care of this, you should take care of that. In a way, it could amount to resentment when you feel like you're providing, taking care of the family. What is the woman bringing to the table? What is she doing? And sometimes some women, they get so used to that gender role that they actually take great advantage of it, in the sense that I've heard a woman say that the kids were sent home from school because of school fees. And she said she wasn't going to pay it, that she had the money, but she wasn't going to pay it, that it wasn't her duty, it wasn't her job. So it's like in her head, she shouldn't be the one paying for the school fees. So the kids are going to stay at home till the man gets the money to pay the school fees.
And then we turn around and talk about patriarchy.
You are supposed to be the man's help, but you are not doing that. What's the essence of you being there? Because the idea is that when it comes to certain responsibilities or certain things that should be done in a home, it's solely the man's. Now, I would also find
because that's the role that society has assigned to the man.
But I also find it weird and, lacking of emotions, where a man, you have a child, maybe 6 months or 8 months or even a year, crying. You're there. Instead of you to pick up the child, you start calling your wife. Maybe your wife is in the kitchen.
Man,
You'll be shouting your wife's name.
That's a quick switch right there. Because I mean, we were just talking
I play
about
all sides, man.
that.
I'm
We
here
were
to-
we were we were
Can
just
you let
we
me
were just
land?
talking about
Can you let
women
me
who
land?
don't lift a finger.
Can you let me?
And
It's
we
that's
only
the thing.
did we
You
only did
actually
that
see
for we only
every
did that
time.
for a second, and
You-
then we switch back to default.
You see
mode. Regular mode.
everything you see everything I say as an attack.
I don't.
I always find balance in things. I always try to do that. You go out in the morning and you stress yourself. You literally do everything. And then when you come back at home, you don't find peace at home. And then when you don't meet up expectations, maybe from your wife or from, the family, because they're asking you for the kids' school fees and you're just finished paying house rent. And your wife, who actually has a bit of money, instead of her to help in places that she could, she wouldn't, because she believes solely it's your responsibility. I just said that because, yes, it happens in most traditional homes. That's how things
Which
work.
homes are not traditional?
Okay, now taking it to some men who they believe to bathe the kids. Now, let me, I'm going to tell you something that's actually funny about this stuff. Everything regarding the home, everything regarding the kids, the family, the house, it's solely the woman's responsibility. But funny thing about this is, in most cases, the man provides financially, but you see the kids, whenever they have something, they gravitate towards the mother to give to the mother.
Why is that?
Because the men, or some men, they feel like once they are done providing, that's it. You forget that this has consequences. And one of it being that you don't have that connection with your kids because you have singled, you've distanced yourself away from actually having that connection because you believe I can't provide and still nurture. But what that does is you do not have a relationship, a bond.
Let me tell
with
you.
your kids.
Let me jump in. Let me jump in real quickly with that. A man doesn't say I cannot provide and nurture.
I'm saying some men.
A man in the midst of providing barely has the time to spend quality time with the children. In traditional homes, the mother is always the one available to have quality time. The mother is the one the kids see. The mother is the one that puts food on the table for the kids. The mother is the one that when the kid is crying, that the kids run to for comfort.
You find in some homes,
Yeah,
that the woman might actually provide at the same time have time to build this relationship.
provide doing what?
Be the breadwinner,
Doing what?
anything.
Now, provision means that you're working. You can't be at home and provide.
The thing that is, I've seen some women
Mm,
who they work.
yeah.
That's where you get the idea of some women who are super, woman.
Mm,
They actually work
yeah.
and they still find a way to have that relationship with their kids.
Yeah. But we're talking about quality time. Do they have quality time with their children?
Let's say that there are men who would prefer if they have.
No man would want to not spend time with his children.
Some men would rather spend time outside than with his children.
Yeah, some men. Actually, that's true. Because they're trying to avoid drama at home.
Drama from the kids.
Not just the kids.
See, there are men who they are bad husbands, okay, but they are good fathers.
Yeah,
There are men who are like that.
that's true.
So if you do not want the drama, you can still stay away from the drama and still have a good time with your kids.
Yeah, but if
Because
you're hanging around, if you're hanging
If
around
you're
to be with your
the
kids,
drama, if you're
that
avoiding
means
the
you
drama
are
from your
being
wife,
in the
because
direct.
your wife is a dramatic human being,
Yeah,
okay, what's going to happen is if she believes she can't get you. Some women are so evil. I use evil because they will use your kids against you. They will poison your kids' mind against you. So why not you be present and avoid that happening? Because once you're there to contradict everything the woman
men are
tries
actually
to do,
learning that now because over time that has happened. And with social media sensitization and everything, a lot of people are saying always be in your kids.
always be all up in, their
kids,
business.
in your kids' lives. If you want to give your kids something, don't hand it to your wife and say, okay, go and pay their school fees okay, buy Christmas clothes for them, Christmas gifts, things for them. If you really want to do something for your kids, do it yourself. Present the gift
And
to them yourself so they
And
know
I
that
think-
it's coming from you. So people are actually telling men
and I
to do
think-
this because
and
at
I
the
think-
end of the day, what happens is that at the end of the day, the children, because they do not know better, they feel like those things were given to them by their mom.
oh, well, they do know better. Some kids actually know better. But I think now, with that, men are realizing that women actually do something sometimes, because the idea is, I brought the money, I provide.
Yeah.
So what are you doing? So as they are learning to, because of the social media sensitization, they are learning to not just provide, but also be involved. Now with that, I think it's kind of really putting things in place. Because one thing is for you to know or believe that someone does something. Another thing is for you to know how it's done, to know what goes into doing it.
Mhm.
So when you as a man, you bring, you have the money, you go shopping for your kids. The process of shopping, trying to find what's suitable for who, I think in a way it creates, if you ask me, when these rules are flexible, it creates this understanding and it puts people in situations to value what the other is doing. Because as a woman, if you go out and you're working and you know what it takes to actually get paid or to labor and bring something to the table, no matter how little it is, and the man is able to maybe one of the days go shopping.
So you're talking about role swapping.
Not really swapping, flexibility. There's no swapping here. It's not something you do on a norm, but
So what you're saying then is that women should just try to be breadwinners sometimes, but not always. And men should
No.
try being caregivers
Not
sometimes,
trying.
but not always.
I always say,
homemakers
find
sometimes, but
your
not always.
dynamic. Find what works for you.
Mhm.
What works in your home. If your husband is the breadwinner and maybe something happens, you begin to earn higher than the man, I think you should take it upon yourself. Cover the leakages so the man will not feel smothered. And the man, at the same time, when the woman can't afford to do the cooking, which that's actually what's happening in some homes right now, okay, because things are being modernized and all I'm saying is gender roles in terms of social expectation can be flexible, because that flexibility leaves room for
Exploration.
yeah,
And for people to not feel resentful.
resentful.
Because
thank
sometimes
you.
the load of
Can be
a
too
role
much.
can be too much on
Too
one person.
much.
Like when it comes to nurturing, for instance, a lot of men feel like it's beneath them. And men tend to take pride in saying, I can't change diapers. I can't clean my baby. I can't give my baby a bath.
What is the woman there for?
And there's this thing in society where you can't give your baby girl a bath. I saw something on social media a couple years ago where a man was giving his little girl a bath, and some weird people were thinking all kinds of weird things, like it was a perverted behavior to give your 6 years old girl a bath. A man doing that. How? Why? I mean, there's this thing of demeaning men that happens in our society where men are seen as
Predators.
Men are seen, not just predators, men are seen as though they're animals. Like we don't know better. We can't control ourselves. Like giving your little girl a bath. I know there are some crazy people out there, but just because there is craziness out there doesn't mean that everybody's crazy.
So you're saying that society are quick to villainize men?
Yeah, very much so. And a certain segment of society, not all of society. You have some really toxic people out there. I was about to say women, but let me not go there. Who feel like everything a man does. I mean, hey, if the man doesn't give the baby the bath, he is a toxically masculine man who expects the woman to do it all by herself. And if the man does go ahead to give a baby girl a bath, he is a pervert. So men cannot really do anything right. And when I talk about misandry, hatred of men, people feel like I'm just no. It's a reality we have to constantly live with. So now men should be able to nurture their children, to help their children learn things. Now, talking about gender role assignment, I'm begging your pardon. Now, there's this idea that a man shouldn't talk to his baby girl who is becoming a woman about puberty. Puberty. You can't talk to her, go to your mom. And when it comes to the boy, I think mothers can actually talk to their sons about, becoming a man, sexuality and things of that nature, but never a man.
I say
do
this.
that with his daughter.
I say this. I think it's high time because things don't change without people pushing back.
There was a man who was doing laundry for his family, right? And one time he was having an issue with another woman in the same compound. That woman told him that he was a deadbeat husband.
Because he was doing laundry
because
for the
he was doing laundry for the family. And if you are a man, why would your wife be at home and you are washing the children's clothes and spreading?
And do you know the funny thing about this stuff?
Now what that does is it turns other men against doing that, because I do not want to be ridiculed. And this was a woman ridiculing this man for doing this great thing.
Let me just say the truth. It came from a jealous place.
I don't think so.
I think it did. Let me tell you that. Yeah, I'm telling you as a woman. Every woman would like to have a man who helps. So any woman who comes to a man and you're arguing with a man, or you're telling the man to go and wash your kids' clothes, you're not done washing your kids' clothes. And to you, it's something that you want to use to insult the man. Deep down somewhere, it's born out of like that particular. I think
it's social indoctrination.
No,
there's this idea that a man is not supposed to do certain things.
I get that.
And when a man does it, it's strange to some people.
I get that, Smoke. I get that. But in this situation, because I cannot for the love of me find why or how a woman would find a man doing his kids' laundry as something to use to insult the man. Something that you would.
It happens all the time.
It's like, but deep down,
especially in our Igbo society.
That's what I'm telling you.
Especially in our Igbo society,
deep down,
they are going to ridicule you for doing that.
That's what deep down you find that such woman is bitter because she can't get her husband to do that for her.
That's why when some men want to help out in their home,
Smoke.
Right?
Let me tell you the truth. What I'm saying is, these women, some of these women. You will see them, they will go and tell their husbands, this man is doing this or this man is helping out in the home, but you don't do it. Sometimes it's born out of jealousy because they know they can't get their husbands to do this. They know that whether let heaven come down, their husband will never.
There's a consequence to this, right? Now, because of avoidance of ridicule, some men would rather die than help out in the home. And when they actually do, they'll hide to do it. And it's usually women who do the ridiculing. And women who also complain when it's not done.
Sometimes there's a difference between a man who is doing it because he has no other option or because he feels like that's
the only way he can help.
Yeah, the only way he can help.
Or contribute to the home. Yeah. To
when a man is doing like what what is expected of him.
Yeah.
And it's like that's the kind of man that, oh wow, your husband is this, your husband is that, but he's still
a breadwinner who is also a homemaker.
Yes, he's
domesticated man who likes to cook every chance he gets.
Yes. So
and he doesn't mind washing the dishes as well, doing the laundry weekends, even though he's been working all week long.
But it's like sometimes you cannot find this too in a man.
Yeah.
Because men feel like when they are providing, they cannot like.
Let me tell you something.
So when a man feels like he cannot do the, but there are men who even when they cannot provide, they will not do that part to help you.
Let me tell you something about the psyche of a man when it comes to doing housework. Men believe that There was a friend of mine who told me a story that I would never forget. This was back during my radio days. He was also a radio person. So he was telling me, like, Smokey, look, anytime you get married, don't do anything for your wife, like cooking, trying to shop for food stuff, groceries for
it's
her.
become your responsibility.
Yeah, it will become your job. He said that this was told him by a woman that he was doing a cabbie. He was doing taxi work, right? Because he didn't have a job at the time and he had to provide. He was still the breadwinner because the wife wasn't really working. So during his taxi runs, he'll, take some time out to rush to the market, get some groceries, vegetable, things for soup and all of that. So he was, carrying his fare, a passenger, right? And they got talking and he was impatient to drop her off so that he would go rush to the market before the end of the day so he could buy things for food. So they got talking about why he was in a rush to go to the market, and he started telling the woman, like, I need to go buy things for food and all of that. And the woman advised that, look, don't. That if you've been doing this, you need to stop. Otherwise, it will become your job. He said that he didn't really pay any attention to it. Like, that he was just newly married. Like he was, a modern man who feels like he should help his wife. And lo and behold, it actually became his job. That the wife became too lazy to go shopping when he couldn't do it. The wife, that because he would come home, because he loved cooking, after doing the taxi run, he would come home and still cook the soup. And the wife would now become accustomed to it and be like, baby, go buy something, cook now. And then he remembered the advice given to him that you shouldn't do this. So men have somehow learned that maybe sometimes it's wrong. I don't think it's wrong. Yeah.
I think it's a human thing in a way. Just let me.
Yeah, of course.
A human thing in the sense that, okay, a man does his laundry. He's been doing his laundry, and then you finally decide to do it for him once. And the next time he expects you to do it again.
You're talking about me.
No, not you, my darling.
She's talking about me.
Not you.
She's definitely talking about me.
No.
Right.
I'm saying that it's a human thing in the sense that when you take off a load from someone or you do something from someone which lessen the burden, unless the person is lazy, okay, it's natural for the person to want, that good stuff to carry on. So I don't really think it's kind of a woman's thing. But I've heard people say that once you do something for a woman, it becomes your responsibility. So I'm not going to lie, say I've not heard people say that. Not one person, not two people, not three.
Yeah. So we've moved from talking about gender roles. We split them into social roles and biological roles. Now, within social roles are those roles that are assigned by society. Be a man, be a breadwinner, be a mechanic. Only men can be mechanics.
Engineers.
And when you are raising kids, only the boys can, learn how to handle the generator, for instance, and the women should be in the kitchen. And when they grow and they become men, these socially assigned roles now start to play out in the family. The woman doesn't know how to change the generator's plug, and the generator could get 40 and they have to wait for, like last night, Anali got electrocuted trying to fix the light.
The thing,
and everybody was looking at me.
I remember something when there was this incident that happened. We had an issue, so I was telling my mom that you would go, you cook, you give me, and then you will not talk to me. You go and eat. Mom was like, "Who taught you how to cook?" I said, "I don't know."
Thank God that came out.
I felt like
my grandmother once said that she didn't know where I learned how to cook hotel. And she said that no woman would ever do shakara for me.
Yes.
So we moved from socially assigned roles like those ones to biological roles that are created by nature, like being the mother, being the nurturer, being the father. Okay. And we've talked about the impact that's within the marriage cycle where these things begin to play out. Men get ridiculed because they are doing
negative and positive
roles that society feels that should be women's. And then when a woman is the breadwinner, it becomes something weird. Sometimes she begins to act crazy, and sometimes the man can't adjust well to that. And it begins to cause issues in the family because the woman is the breadwinner, and in his head, she is also the head of the family, or she has assumed leadership, and she has to tiptoe around him, trying to avoid triggering his emotions. And that becomes a toxic situation that the woman finds very difficult to deal with. So these are impacts of gender roles in marriage. And yes, gender plays a huge role in marriage.
It does, but I'm saying let's make it flexible in ways that we can, in ways that one person won't find themselves struggling with so much.
Both men and women. Let's teach our young children, our boys and girls, that there's no shame in doing something, and nothing is too big or too technical for anyone to do. We can always learn to do these things so that when we get in our marriages, we won't be at anybody's mercy. We should be calling it a day here.
Yes.
All
Had a
right.
great time.
We barely scratched the surface, but hey, has to come to an end somewhere. Do not forget to follow us on our channels. That's at BS Podcast NG. Thank you one more time for hanging with us all the time. And look, every time you come to watch on YouTube, subscribe. Thank you one more time for hanging with us today. Until the next time we are here.
Ciao.
This is Besty and Smoke Podcast.
Talking the BS.